Brian, you have some strong feelings about playing your games on the go. Is that right?
That is right. I have a quick ask for Sony because it feels like, I don't know, it's almost the end of the year, and this is like when we ask for gifts. So let's do it. Hey, Sony, do you remember handheld gaming? Well, you should, because you did some really cool stuff in that space before you seemingly walked away from it forever. Well, guess what? Handheld gaming is actually really big right now, and we'd love to have you back. The Nintendo Switch is a massive hit. The Analog Pocket sold out instantly. The Steam Deck is super popular, and every first-party PlayStation game that Sony has ported to Steam, like, I don't know, God of War, Spider-Man, Days Gone, Horizon, Sackboy, Miles Morales, Uncharted, are all verified to work on Steam Deck with the little green check mark, meaning they're all basically handheld games already. PlayStation even recently partnered with a company called Backbone to make a DualSense themed controller grip for your iPhone so you could play PS5 games remotely. Sony, you are right there on the precipice of handheld gaming again. You don't even need to compete with the DS or 3DS systems anymore because Nintendo consolidated their handheld and console pillars with the Switch 5 years ago. They're not even looking. Now's your chance. The PSP sold 80 million units. Vita sold 16 million units. PSVR only sold 5 million, and you're giving that thing a sequel. Make a handheld system again. Some of my favorite PlayStation memories of all time happened on PlayStation handhelds. The PSP was amazing for JRPGs, puzzle games, GTA, Metal Gear, so much more. The Vita had Uncharted, Tearaway, Guacamelee, Gravity Rush, Spelunky, Hotline Miami, you name it. Even the PSP Go, which was weird, but I bought one and I liked it, even though I mostly used it for pirated ROMs and playing Super Mario 64 illegally and awkwardly on an airplane with that weird sliding nipple analog nub stick thing. Look, you're giving VR a second chance, and I'm happy for that. But I want to take my PlayStation games everywhere. I want to travel the world and then not look at it because my head is buried in an intense Returnal run on the Vita 2 or new Super PSP or whatever you decide to call it. Sony, the PS5 is a smash hit. PSVR 2 launches next year. It's already selling out pre-orders. After that, it's clear skies for a new PlayStation handheld. Do it for me. Do it for the world. Do it for PlayStation. Beyond.
Wow. Can I just want to I just want to shout you out for using nipple in your little spiel. That was great.
Yeah. They didn't let me use that in essays in school, so I had to wait till I grew up.
All right. Sure. No,
yeah. Don't you guys think that we should get a new handheld? Like, this is like
100%.
It feels crazy to me that we're only just getting a PSVR 2, which again, like I said, like, very good, very happy that's happening. But like, in terms of small products that did reasonably well for Sony, like, their handheld line was infinitely more successful than the VR stuff. And it just makes more sense right now. Like, the world is opening back up. People are out again. They want to go places. Like, yes, we want to be hooked up to a TV with a single cable and play, intense claustrophobic VR games. But I love handhelds. They're so cool. And Sony was really good at them.
Yeah. No, I would love if we got the sort of, I mean, I've always said that the Sega Nomad was something really cool because they took a last-gen console and then made it into a handheld. Like, make a PS4 Pocket. Like,
give me a PS3 Pocket. Like, there's so many games on the PS3 that are trapped.
PS3 games on PS5.
I know, but there's so many games that are trapped on the PS3. Like, I feel like that would be a great market because you can play all your PS4 games on your PS5, and like, there's the PS3 ones are only available via streaming. So if there was some way to make it to where we could get a portable PS3,
well, I don't know. It is weird that, like, you look at the sales numbers for the Switch, which are just off the charts, and then there's all that other stuff you mentioned, and it's like Sony's like, here's a new hat. It's expensive. Have fun with it. Don't go outside wearing it. You get mugged.
Some stuff I didn't really get into is that, like, unfortunately, like, the Sony brand is not really, like, at least on the gaming side, not really crushing it in Japan anymore. It's just not. Like, that is, in fact, like, consoles in general have kind of subsided there a little bit, and like, mobile games and handhelds are kind of supreme there, and Nintendo's still crushing it. But also, like, we've been talking about PSVR 2 and whether or not it will, like, tether to your PC legally in any meaningful way. I'm sure someone, like, will mob that. But, like, a lot of the talk about why they wouldn't do that is that if you bought that PSVR and you hooked it up to Steam, you would just be giving money directly to Valve by buying games through Steam Deck or through Steam. And Sony wouldn't have, like, their own proprietary store on there. Whereas, like, on a handheld, they can do that. And, like, right now they're launching games that run functionally on Steam Deck, but they're not really making money off of the store side of that. They're just selling games on somebody else's storefront. Whereas, like, if they had their own, PS Vita 2 or something like that, it'd have a dedicated PlayStation store, and everything you bought on there would would go directly to them. Like they'd own all that money. So I don't know. It just seems like the right play. And I know like they probably feel like they got kind of burned on Vita because, you know, it sold significantly less than the previous system did. But I still think there's something there. Like there's still magic there, right? Like Sony can still pull this off.
What is the killer feature a new PlayStation handheld needs for you, Brian? What's like the killer feature that like you think would just like make it sell like gangbusters?
I mean, I think honestly, like that it doesn't necessarily need one. Like that's the thing. And I think that's where they got bogged down in the Vita, right? Like it had, like I mentioned Tearaway. That took advantage of like the back touch and the front screen. The Uncharted game had you like rubbing, you know, artifacts and removing dust from them and stuff like that. Sony Ben worked on that before Days Gone. Like they did some really innovative stuff. But like when I play my Switch and I play my Steam Deck and stuff like that, I play those things as like handhelds, and I just want them to have like a big pretty screen and function well and have a decent battery life, which Steam Deck is not so great about. But if it had like a good screen and a good battery life and a good library, that's really all it needs. Give me access to a bunch of games that I own already through PlayStation and keep it simple. You don't really need all the haptic stuff. You don't really need 3D audio or, you know, back touch or
I mean that's the stuff that made the Vita hard to port, you know. Like it's I feel like the one thing Switch has been really smart about is like Nintendo has a long history of having like weird gimmicky proprietary stuff, like having having dual screens, which is weird. And the Switch is like, no, it's just a 16:9 rectangle. It's got touch screen if you want to port your iOS game over. Good luck, you know. And then the rest is like pretty vanilla. So that's you know, out of character. But yeah, I wish Sony would kind of follow suit. PS4 Pocket, I want it. Give me that.